All right, guys, we are going to move on. We're going to talk to Podluck, and we're going to talk Podluck, and we're going to talk Bryce Dallas Howard because, by gosh, she was asked to lose weight for a movie role. Mary, thoughts?
It's really not fair. I think that this is part of the ginger side.
They just want him out.
And particularly the ginger side on ginger women.
See, I don't think there's a gendered issue here. I think it's all gingers.
Well, she also somewhat famously has a huge ass.
She is thick, as they say.
I don't know if it's all that fair to ask her to lose weight for the role when that's what people came to see, right?
But I want to point out that there was a scene there when we did the review for this. Hannah Claire said that she felt that there were scenes at the end when they were in the hangar of the airport where they felt that she was dressed in a way like they were trying to hide a baby bump or something.
Because they were filming for a long time,
yes.
So maybe her
Got
body
pregnant,
changed during the filming at the end.
So it says, what being in this third film allowed, how do I say this? How do I say this? How do I say this? That's actually the quote. I'm not
Yeah, I know.
How do I say this? How do I say this? How do I say this? I've been asked to not use my natural body in cinema, Howard said. On the third movie, it was actually because there were so many women cast. It was something that Colin felt very strongly about in terms of protecting me because the conversation came up again. We need to ask Bryce to lose weight. You don't need to ask Bryce to lose weight. She looks great.
Something that sounds low-key like a backhanded compliment here is he was like, there are lots of different kinds of women on this planet, and there are lots of different kinds of women in our film.
Oh, and by the way,
she said she got to do stunts that wouldn't have been possible if she had been dieting.
I mean, I don't know how
I can't imagine what those would have been.
It was like fitting through like a narrower escape hatch or something.
I have no idea. I don't remember anything like that from the film, but...
So she says that weight has often come up as a topic of discussion among studio executives, and that the conversations came up again while just shooting Dominion. I remember not that long ago we were talking about, and I'm not going to remember the actress's name, so I'm not even going to like pause to think about it. But whoever the actress was from from the movie Troy talked about how she felt objectified because she had to go in full garb and like turn around for the executives, but. They kind of forget that it is a visual medium, and it is the job of the executives and the directors to make sure that you look right for the part, for the role. It is
maybe twirling is going a little bit far.
I don't know. I mean, no, I don't know if I necessarily because then you're ascribing that to they're looking at the way she looks. They're looking as to how this costume looks. Like you have to look at what it looks like because that was like. Well,
Troy. What if it were like not with the costume on? What if it were just looking at her body to see if her body looked right for the role?
I don't know if I necessarily have a problem.
Fine?
I think that if you're choosing to be an actress, which is an inherently visual medium, you have the right to not do that. But I don't think that if they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make these movies, they have a right to be as. Protective over their investment as possible.
I don't think they should be like, all right, strip, we want to check you out. But I think that in an audition, I'm sure that they're taking that kind of stuff into consideration.
Is that part of an actor or actress's contract being in a certain level of fitness?
Perhaps in certain roles.
For certain body measurements, you have to get very particular about it if you're going to put it in a contract.
Marvel had requirements for amount of muscle mass they had to put on. For the men. I don't know.
So then for the women, would it be like you have to have this range of waist and hip measurements or ratio? And if you don't have it, then you're breaching contract.
I could imagine them doing that. I absolutely could. Like, I don't
and
know.
And
that
sounds like something that would never be revealed to the public.
No, not at all.
But it seems realistic, right? But like once you are contractually obligated to the role, that is part of it.
Well, you gotta.
You can't just do whatever you want to your hair,
and you got to keep continuity.
Yep,
I'm assuming.
No, I remember when Shalita Grant was hired to do, was it NCIS New Orleans or something like that? A big thing for her was like they wanted her to straighten her hair. She did not want to straighten her hair, and she had to like work out negotiations with them to like, look, I don't want to do it. And like she ended up doing, like they made a compromise. And so she put it in a ponytail, and it was like one of those really tight ones that apparently like gave her headaches or whatever, or gave her migraines. And that was like, that ended up being like such a big annoyance for her. It became one of the reasons that she left the show. But like, you know, they have a right to ask what they want of every character. But nowadays with culture the way it is, they can if an actor doesn't want to do that, they can weaponize it and say that, oh, they're being sexist or they're being racist by asking me to do this for the role.
Well, there are actors and actresses who will like shave their head for roles, and
G.I. Jane,
or lose a bunch of weight to appear like unhealthy and underweight.
That's what Christian Bale did for Lawnmower Man, right? And then and Robert John Burke did it for a role back in the 90s. That's a very common thing. And this is the thing that I talked about the other day. It was like it's a comic book panel, and it's like it shows like a hot woman, and then it cuts to the comic of the woman. She goes, "Oh my God, unrealistic! Where are her organs? Unrealistic body expectations."
It goes the other way too. Sometimes they want people to get heavier.
Yes, so she mentioned DeWanda Wise was muscly in Jurassic World Dominion.
DeWanda Wise, who should have been Reva.
Was that also something that they asked her to do? I mean, I think it would be reasonable if they did.
Maybe they should, and maybe just because like with these characters now, I get annoyed particularly, this isn't a superhero movie, but I get annoyed when people complain about like having to get in shape for these roles. I'm like, you're literally playing a superhero. You're the idealized version of the human form. You should not look like an everyday Joe Schmo. Yeah.
But it also was annoying when they tried to make Natalie Portman into that image.
Well, that's because they made it like a manly version of it. The men should look like that. The women should be feminine in their perfection.
Well, but what if it makes sense for their character to be kind of jacked for a woman, right?
It didn't really work for her.
Like DeWanda Wise was like that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't think it works for Natalie Portman because she's naturally...
They're like, Black Swan.
Like yeah.
You're tiny. There's the image of her lifting Thor's hammer at like Comic-Con. She looks like she can barely hold it up.
It's like they chose her specifically because it makes no sense. It's jarring.
In that comic panel, then it shows the girl, and she's like looking at the female comic, and she's like, "Oh my God, unrealistic body expectations." And then it shows a guy looking at like a Conan the Barbarian comic. He's got like a 12-pack of abs, and the guy goes, "Awesome. Need to go to the gym. Need to buy a sword."
Like guys, they hate how easy it is for us to be happy.
Yes. Have you ever seen that meme? It's like it's a guy like in his living room with just a TV and like a lawn chair, and women are like, men think it's okay to live like this, and the guy's like, women just hate how little it takes for us to be happy, and that's what Bill Burr talks about.
Something to be said for
women.
that.
Women like women get into a relationship with a guy and they just can't stand downtime. They're like, we got to go to brunch. We're gonna go out and get coffee. And the guy's like, I just want to watch TV on my own.
Downtime's the best.
Exactly. So I don't know. To me, this is one of those things. I don't think there wasn't necessarily a reason to care about it here because she's gorgeous, and it's not like she needed to look like she was a superhero. She was just, if anything, they were kind of.
She's a mom.
She's a mom, and they were in hiding, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like, or not hiding, but the daughter was in hiding. So I don't think there was a need to change it. And like you said, I think people go to see Bryce Dallas Howard look the way she looks. Am I right?
Right.
Exactly.
I agree. But I also think that sort of thing seems to come with that industry, that you may have to adjust yourself for certain types of characters, but should it always be expected that women have to be like a particular body type to be on film, period? No.
Well, then it's about the role you apply for.
Yeah, if you're a superhero, you should look like superhero.
Yep. Guys or girls.
That's
whatever
probably
the
part of the
version
contract.
For the men, it is. For the men, it absolutely is.
I can't imagine it's not, but maybe we'll find that details exposed years later.
See, if she was smart, what she would have said is, I am thick hips representation, and you need to keep me on because I am here to represent for thick women everywhere.
I don't think she doesn't look that thick. She's got a curvy booty.
She does.
Yeah, that's what people love about Bryce Dallas Howard.
I did not know that. I did not know that until you told me that.
I've seen tweets like thirsting after Bryce Dallas Howard.
So they said the Jurassic World franchise has been something of a constant battle for Howard. And not only was she asked to lose weight for the movies, but also had to contend with being paid less than her co-star. Do you remember this? Oh my God, the lead actor made more than me? The guy with the bigger name made more than me? Whatever will I do? And then he had to come and save her by like saying, like helping her get. Were you here for that segment, or was that when you were out of town? Basically, he made more than her, and they're like, how dare he make more than her, even though his name is at the top of the marquee, and he's the bigger star. Guardians of the Galaxy, it just came out. He's a big name. But then, like, when they went into contract negotiations for, like toys and rides, he got, like, pay equality for all of them, which he didn't have to do.
I remember Jennifer Lawrence complaining about that with Leonardo DiCaprio, which is even more extreme of a difference. And then Florence Pugh and Harry Styles.
So, but think about this. It says she was making $8 million to Pratt's $10 million. He's a way bigger name than she is. He is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it also, I'm sure it happens both ways, just the guys don't complain about it.
They don't. Well, also
Or they might be more likely to speak up when doing the whole contract in the beginning and
That's
saying,
where
hey,
another factor.
I actually would like to be paid this much, and I think I'm worth this much.
That's where the gender wage, a lot of, like, the gender, if I remember correctly, that's where a lot of that is negotiated through. Men choose higher risk jobs that have hazard pay, men work more hours, and men are more likely to be confrontational and walk away from a contract negotiation if they don't get paid what they think they're worth, whereas women tend to, I'm not saying all, some not all.
You don't need to tell me.
Like Lydia yesterday was like, I have been spending years saying not all men, and you can't even do that for me today when we were making fun of something. But like women have the tendency to be more agreeable and will just kind of take what they're offered.
Then I feel like when a woman does choose to be confrontational about that or try to confidently negotiate a higher salary, it didn't work out for Neve Campbell. She ended up having to walk away.
Well, no,
I think like the outcomes of confrontations don't go as well for women anyway.
I think that might be that the guy, if the guy walks away, there's no story there. There's a story if the woman walks away. There isn't a story if the guy walks away.
Yeah, I suppose that's right.
Like if the guy walks away,
attention on her situation.
Her being the star of the Scream franchise, but it's like by this point, like we talked about the other day, the stars are no longer the stars. The franchise is the star that's making the actors.
It's a mantle.
It's a mantle, so they can just pass it on and do that. So, all I know is let Bryce Dallas Howard keep the hips. Don't make her.
Leave Bryce Dallas Howard alone.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.